Hello once again. In our previous lesson, we looked at what we call vector graphics, and I explained what vector graphics is, its importance, and I also mentioned some examples of vector graphic design software. So in this lesson, we are going to look at Adobe Illustrator itself. So the first thing before we start with the interface, we need first of all to understand what Adobe Illustrator is. So Adobe Illustrator is a software application that is used to create drawings, illustrations, and artwork using a Windows or Mac OS computer. So when you talk of drawings, here we are talking of handwritten. We are talking about freehand or shapes, lines, curves, and so on. So artwork basically is the designs, the actual design that you do in Illustrator. That's what we call an artwork. So Adobe Illustrator works on either Windows or Mac computer. However, you can still use Linux on Adobe Illustrator. The only thing you need to do is that you need to install Wine or Play on Linux, or if you're using Linux computer, then from there you can be able to install Adobe Illustrator. So basically it's widely used by graphic designers, web designers, visual artists, and professional illustrators throughout the world to create high quality artwork. So to start Adobe Illustrator, we're going to click on either the Adobe Illustrator icon here, or if you have installed Adobe Illustrator, you can click on Start. You can go to Applications. So in these applications, you will scroll down. You will see Adobe Master Collection CS6. So in this list, you'll be able to get the Adobe Illustrator CS6 software. So I'm going to click on the Adobe Illustrator icon because I pinned it on the taskbar. So click on that icon. So we wait for the program to load. There it is, loading. There it is, it's loading. So we give it a few minutes to load as we wait. So we give it a few minutes. It's just loading some few things, updating some font menus and okay, so here we are. So this is the Adobe Illustrator interface. So before we start creating our new document, first of all we need to understand this interface. So at the topmost part we have the menu bar. It has menu commands like file, edit, object type, select, and so on. Also on our left side you can see we have a toolbox that has different tools which you are going to use for design. Also on our right we have the palettes. So these palettes perform different functionalities. We are going to look at the palettes later. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to create a new document. So click on File, then you choose New. You should get a dialog box. So there we are. So we have a dialog box that has got some settings. So we start with the name. We are going to give our artboard, our document, a name. So let's call this lesson 1. Lesson 1. Number, we also have the profile. Profile we have custom. It has changed to custom because I typed a name here. So anything that you type, this profile will automatically change to custom. If I click on this drop down arrow, you're going to get other options like print, web, devices, and so on. So we'll leave it as is. We also have what we call number of artboards. An artboard basically is a working area. So in this case, in Illustrator, the artboards indicate the number of pages that you want to work with. So for a start, we'll just leave it as 1. Also, we have the size, the paper size. We have letter. So if I click, we have legal, tabloid, A4, and so on. So I can choose a 4 for my case. So when you choose a size, the dimensions of that size will appear. So by default, you have width 21 centimeters, height 29.7 centimeters. If you want to change these units of measure, just come to the unit section. You can be able to change to the unit of measure that you're comfortable with. So for my case, I can just leave it as is. That's fine. Also, we have the page orientation. We have this first icon that represents portrait or tall. We also have this next icon that represents landscape. So when you click on landscape, you'll notice that the dimensions will change. I choose portrait. There we are. Also, we have the bleed option. Now this bleed usually provides an allowance, so for now we leave this one as is. We click on the advanced section. We have the color mode. Color mode, we have various color modes. We have CMYK and RGB. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow and black. RGB stands for red, green and blue. The difference is that with RGB, you can develop content that you can use for a website. So if you want to create content that can be even used for web, we use the RGB colors. Reason is because browsers support RGB colors. With CMYK, these are just for print: cyan, magenta, yellow and black. Though CMYK has got more colors compared to RGB. Raster affects this resolution, so this is dependent on your screen. So for our case, we leave it as high so that you can be able to produce high definition artworks. Preview mode, will just leave it as is, and then you click OK. So there is our artboard. So there is our artboard, and that's our working area. We have called our document lesson 1, and this workspace here, this is what we call the artboard. So in our next lesson, we are going to start by looking at the tools. So thank you very much, and see you in our next